BroadwayWorld fans, Steve Schoenberg here with some incredible performers I'm sure you're going to know, Mr. Norm Lewis and Miss Tamyra Gray. They're co-starring in Once on This Island at the Circle in the Square Theater as Agwe and Papa Gay. So I'll just say, oh my gods, plural.
Oh, that's good.
So how's it been? You guys stepped into the show, the original cast started in the fall, and then you guys have stepped into this show of two of the four gods. How's it been joining the cast?
It's been incredible.
Yeah.
I'm having the best time playing Papa Gay. I was completely unfamiliar with the show, and to be able, the fact that they changed the gender. So I've always wanted to play a guy. I can't even lie. And to get to do it and just slink around the stage and be mean and wonderful all at the same time. It's fantastic.
Well, what's that gender been like? Because also Alex Newell plays Asaka, which is Mother Earth, and he's a gentleman himself, and so you're both doing a gender bend. What's that like?
It's fantastic because he can hit all the high notes and I can stay in the belly and just relax and live there. It's fantastic.
Now, Norm, did you see the original production of this?
Yes, about 10 times.
Okay.
Yeah, I was obsessed with the show, and it was after hearing the CD, because I got the CD first, and back when CDs were a thing. Do you remember CDs? Remember those?
I think so.
Yeah, it's antiquated. Anyway, but I would play it over and over and over again, and then I finally got a chance to see the show, and it just blew my mind, and I became friends with a lot of the people in the show. And then I ended up doing the show it was the very first regional production of it at Gateway Playhouse in Patchogue. And
Long Island, Strong Island.
Strong Island. And Darlisa Searcy, who also is in the show with us now, was my T Moon. I was Agwe then. Then from that, I got hired to do the last 3 months of the national tour, and I was a swing, but I ended up doing Agwe a lot on the national tour. And so to revisit this show after 25 years, 25 years, but it's beautiful, and what they've done with this, Michael Arden and the other creatives have done with this show, it's just been fantastic. And to come in with Tamyra, I'm glad we came in together instead of just being alone, but we came in together because we did 10 days of rehearsals and we were in. We were like
just
in. But it's been fun to see this, how deep they went with it, bringing the voodoo culture up a little bit more. What has been interesting, and I'm sorry I'm kind of taking over this thing, but what's been interesting about this is when I've done it before, when I've seen it before, it's been on a proscenium stage. And so you were an audience member looking at this beautiful story. It's a great story. But now in Circle in the Square, you feel like you're part of the story. And you have to be involved. The sand and the water, and it's it's in the round. So
what's so great about that theater too is it's sort of the midpoint between immersive theater, right, which you know because you just did Sweeney Todd in an actual pie shop, and then the proscenium stage. So you're sort of getting a flair of both. Now, how many actors could revisit a role 25 years later, besides Norm Lewis and Carol Channing?
Exactly.
What was it like, sort of dusting off that script?
Well, I loved the music. I've loved Lynn, Aarons and Steve Flaherty for so long, and all their lineage of stuff that they've done. But I would listen to the CD every once in a while just to kind of bring back memories. But and I would sing the song that I sing, "Rain," a lot at different events. And now I get to sing it and get paid for it, so that's great. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
So the show tells a story of how love can bridge cultures and bridge divides. What do you think of that relevance, Tamyra, in today's world?
I think that it's so important, especially at a time where hate is taking center stage, not just from our person in staff and chief and staff, but just everybody feels disconnected. And I feel like this show is life affirming. We touch on racism within the Black community, which has been for a long time between light skin and dark skin Black. So we touch on that, and at the end of the show, we say that breaks down the walls and brings us all together. And I feel like it's so important.
So that the gates never close.
So that the gates never close again.
Yeah.
There you go. And it's important. We need to be reminded of that because so many are trying to separate us right now. We're trying to build up more walls. It's like, come on. In this day and age, in a world where we all recognize the need for one another and that we can't get through life without each other. Like it's time to stop with the separateness.
Sure. I mean, what is love as told through this story? I mean, you've sort of explained it from how we bring people together, but the takeaway message, and I don't want to give away the plot, right, is a little unexpected, right? But love comes through as something beyond what you sort of walked into the theater anticipating. What do you think?
What is love?
As told through Once on the Island.
I think it's whatever anyone's interpretation is. I mean, you come into this show with the immersive feel to it because you feel like you're going to the beach, you feel like you're going to an island. But people come in with different expectations. They also leave with different solutions, and they see the same story, but they leave with their own journey. And love is whatever you are. And like Lin-Manuel said at the Tony Awards, love is love is love is love.
And I think it's the acceptance and responsibility and trust in who you are and what you believe, and standing firmly in that, and allowing no one, because what we do in this show, especially Papa Gay, is I try to dissuade, and I try to get Timoon to choose me over love. And she's so strong in her convictions that she can't be changed. She stands firmly in her belief and in her faith.
Sure.
And that's what guides her. And I feel as though in life we're all met with those crossroads in many different avenues of our journey. And when you stand firm in your own convictions, your love shines forth.
Well, she finds herself.
She finds
Right,
herself.
exactly. Yeah.
So we talked about how they are gods, Papa Gay and Agwe. They are real gods in the voodoo culture. Did you guys research that in taking on this role?
Yes. I mean, not as deeply as because we only had 10 days. But yes, what we've understood was, and Michael was great with the dramaturge, and basically telling us how the parallels with voodoo and Catholicism are, in the sense of basically these gods are like saints. And in fact, well, again, without giving the plot away, the lead character actually becomes a saint. And it's wonderful how the culture really invests in that and making sure the story is continued. But yeah, I mean, I would love to know more about Agwe. I would love to know more about Papa Gay and in this culture. We do know, we were just discussing this, that the beautiful goddess of love, Urzuli, and Agwe are actually married and are lovers. But also Urzuli has many other lovers as well. So
you made a great line on that.
Yeah, we are polyamorous.
We were the hipsters of polyamory.
That's right. We were poly before it was cool. It's interesting how we actually have a great relationship and how we play with each other.
Yeah.
Something I've wondered about the show is the storytelling device of gods, right? So is it that you determine your own fate, but because in the show the gods are, for lack of a better word, manipulating, right? They're trying to almost play a game to see how things will resolve. What do you think of that as a storytelling device in theater, of sort of the master puppeteers?
Well, it's a lot of fun because I think, like, as gods, we all have a purpose. Like, we all know, like, you control water, I control death, love controls love, and Mother Earth controls the earth and the growth of things. And I find it very interesting that at the very beginning, before we even do anything, the goddess of love challenges the god of death and decides to step outside of what her normal reign is. And, for me, I get to watch the whole thing unfold, as well as take part in it. And as Papa Gay, I sit there and question, well, why? Why are you doing this? Like, this is not your territory. This is mine. Why aren't you content in your world? And then when everybody comes in, it becomes, for me, like, okay, fine. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, game on.
This is what we're doing.
Papa Gay sort of taught a lesson in some
I'm
ways.
taught a ginormous lesson.
Right, because Urzuli, goddess of love, is beautiful, and of course played by the amazing Lea Salonga, let's just say. Beautiful, but Papa Gay's strong and has this huge, like, the costume and the colors and stuff, so you think the brute force will overtake love, but, she gets challenged. Papa Gay gets challenged.
Right. It gets challenged and is introduced to what love actually is. I feel as though Papa Gay had lost faith in humans being able to manifest love in its pure form. And so what Timoon is able to show me is that love really does exist on a level that even I wasn't aware of.
Now, Agwe is the king of the seas. You've now played that role twice. There is absolutely no question there, except that I wanted to get a Little Mermaid plug into this interview.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the show is based on The Little Mermaid, and the book is based on The Little Mermaid. And if you read Hans Christian Andersen's version of The Little Mermaid and My Love, by Rosa Guy, it's the parallels are incredible because you are actually Ursula.
Right.
And
yes.
I hadn't thought of that one.
the antagonist, and so you take her life instead of her voice.
Which is so much fun.
Yeah. So
It's so
it's interesting to watch this. I consider Agwe Triton's cousin
Okay.
in the French Antilles.
So we have questions from fans.
Yes.
So Broadway World fans, we're here with Norm Lewis and Tamyra Gray talking about Once on This Island at the Circle and Square Theater. So we had questions written in. First is Times Square Tim. Hi, Times Square Tim. Asked, what is it like working with Michael Arden, who we all love? Have either of you worked with him before?
This is my first time, and he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I've done a reading or a recording for him years ago when he was just out of college, and I knew his brilliance then. I've never worked on a production with him, but I've done concerts with him, and if you've never seen him perform, it is a treat. His voice is beyond golden. It's so beautiful.
Check out the Hunchback of Notre Dame
Yeah.
cast recording.
Yeah.
Speaking of Disney, twice now. That's weird. Broadway Wiz asks, how is it performing on a stage full of sand? I love this question. Does it complicate acting while moving around?
Oh, no. Of course it doesn't. Yes, it's fun. It is fun to be a part of the sand, but when you're jumping over power poles, trees, I have tried not to fall on my face, landing in the sand. So you have that element of trying to remember your balance and not fall or slice your toes or do any of those things.
It's a challenge. I mean, I don't know if if you can remember walking on the beach and walking for a long time. It is a challenge to try to continue being balanced and trying to be godlike too. Sometimes you're like tripping over yourself, but without looking stupid. But it also adds to our characters, and it helps us with feeling where we are.
Visceral.
And for me, it's fantastic because I get to go back and forth in the water and on the sand, in the water on the sand. So I get to wash it off for one, but also I get to feel the water and feel like I'm a god of water. So.
Aspiring performers, that's how you get hazard pay.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
remember that.
Yeah.
But to your point, Norm, there's the sand and there's the goat
Yeah,
and
the
there's
goats and
real
chickens.
fire.
The real fire and learning how to play with goats, which was a very new experience for me.
I believe one has a diaper and one does not. Is that right?
No, they all have
They
diapers.
both have diapers.
Okay.
They're those little thing called poo berries. We don't want any of them on the stage while we're barefoot. That would
This
be
is live
awful.
theater.
Yeah.
Music Maven asks specifically for you, Tamyra. You were always my favorite Idol contestant. Do you plan to do more theater? And what would your dream role be?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I do plan on doing more theater. And what would my dream role be? At the moment, this is it. Because I am having the best time. And actually, every role that I've been fortunate to play has, I didn't know what it was going to do to me and for me. And so each one of them have been a dream role. Yeah. But the role that inspired me to want to do musical theater was Heather Headley in Aida.
We need a revival of that
so
show.
That would be a dream.
Yes.
Dream.
Let's make that happen,
Yeah.
everybody, please.
Put that out there.
Well, I think like when you played Mimi and Ren, like what an emotional role, and then you go into Bombay Dreams,
Bombay
which is something
Dreams
totally different.
That was my first one, and so I got to learn how to do. That was my first time doing accents, learning dialect.
Wow.
And then a completely different culture, the Hindi culture, which is beautiful and incredible. And then Mimi just dancing on the freaking banisters.
So
like,
fun.
who doesn't want to do that?
And actually, I could totally see her do Pippin. I mean, there's his leading player now because they've gender bent that.
Hey.
I can see you doing a lot of stuff.
Hey.
Yay.
Your agent's
This is my
calling
agent
tomorrow.
right here, right
I
here.
know.
What's your dream role, Norm?
You know what? I've had so many of them fulfilled. I've been so blessed, and obviously the one that I really really wanted, I got to play, and that's the Phantom. But I was thinking recently, even before it came, or it's coming now. But I was thinking maybe about a year and a half ago. I thought about Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I didn't get a chance to be involved with this version of it, but maybe later on down the road, maybe I could possibly do that.
Yeah.
Music Man is also something it's been on my radar. But there's also new stuff that people are writing, and Pasek and Paul.
And I believe you did a Music Man song on your solo album. Is that right?
No, I did. Hello, I did. Wait a minute, did I? No, what did I do?
You did? We'll look after.
Yeah, well, no, but I know I did something from Hello Dolly.
You did, before the parade passes by.
Yeah. Jesus, I don't know. Did I do something?
I think there's one on there.
Okay, all right,
But
we'll look it
chat
up.
later.
I should know this. I only got one. But yeah, Music Man, I think it might be on the horizon. And then there's also, I'm looking at trying to revive, or at least bring back in an encores sort of way, a lot of African American musicals that have just been on the shelf. And we're looking into that right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
We know what they're going into.
Woohoo.
All right, so we're going to play a game.
Okay.
But usually we have one guest today. We obviously have two. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to see who does better.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
So this is called 10 in 1. Of the however many interviews we've done, only one person has ever gotten it
Okay.
in 10 questions in 1 minute.
Okay. All right.
So Norm, don't listen.
All right.
Hold your ears.
La, la, la.
Okay, ready?
Leave the
Are you
room.
ready? Jeffrey, you counting?
leave the room?
No, you can just.
So why me
I'm letting you
first?
cheat. You're counting down, okay? Jeffrey's doing this with us. All right, Tamyra Gray.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Deep breath. If you were to play one of the other gods, who?
Agwe.
If you were on an island, which one would you want it to be?
Maldives.
What's your favorite song in the show?
What's rain?
Ladies and gentlemen, the cast album's out today.
Yes,
On that
it
note, where do you get your zen?
Meditation.
Ooh. What makes you angry?
Rudeness.
Do you have a secret talent?
No.
I bet you do. What advice would you give T Moon if she was real and... Oh, never mind.
You're taking up
If
the
you
minute.
weren't an actor, what would you be?
A singer.
Okay, you are. What's your favorite place in the world?
Home.
What's one word to describe BroadwayWorld fans?
Amazing.
Oh, it's so true. Oh my goodness, we made it in 1 minute.
And
Okay. Well, what was that? What advice would you give T Moon if she was real? You're not playing a role.
I don't think
But no,
she
we
needs
can't have
any
Norm
advice,
do that
though.
one.
I think she has it
She
more
finds
figured
it.
out.
Let's see what Norm says later. Okay, you're off the hook
be so
now.
good.
Okay.
That's
We got you back. We
You
can
got
get
me?
Norm again.
I was trying to
Yes.
be in my soundproof booth then. I was trying to,
Yeah.
this feels like Miss America or whatever that one of those pageants when they're in the
It's
booth.
like the music
Yeah.
playing.
The last
hands
question
on.
of the two.
So before we get to you doing the 10 questions, so there was some news that broke recently about a show you never heard of called Jesus Christ Superstar. Have you heard about this?
What was the news?
Yeah.
What?
Mr. Norm Lewis playing Caiaphas in the live broadcast on NBC.
Yes.
What was it like getting that call?
It was, come on. They had me come in, and I said, well, really? Okay, sure, I'll go in. And all of a sudden, they called me the next day or 2 days later and said, we want to hire you. And I'm tripping out. I've never done the show before. I've always